Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well this morning. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Let me know when you're in the chat as well. Make sure the audio is fine. Make sure you can hear me okay. If we can just let me know, then I know I'm good and we can talk about this because today's a busy day. Today, we're going to be speaking about the transfer situation. Jack Gaughan's been speaking about the lack of midfield options and the fact that we're probably not going to be signing anyone. We'll speak a bit about Kyle Walker and what that means in terms of a potential replacement should he leave. And of course, after this, we are going over to the second channel, More LB, to watch Liverpool take on Ipswich in the second Premier League game of the season. So make sure you follow in and subscribe to the second channel. More LB link is in the description for anyone not following that. Let's get some shout outs in the building. Who we got here today? Big up to MCFC, Blue Moon Edits, Anidra. Big up to you. Big up to Mustafa, Chizzy, Marshy Boy, Norman, Ryan, DRLX. Big up to Shaquille, Backbencher, Textonics. Big up to MCFC OK. Mustafa's say big up to Aaron, Beyond Belief, Dave, Silent Violence, Jerome, Fraser, Whittier, Mansour, Rehan, Alvida Zane, J. Claus, Briggsy. Who else we got in here? Big up to Jess, Cappy, Raka, Renee, Norman, Dev Cooney. Big up to David Foster. Who else we got in here? Big up to Signal, Daniel, Shakti, Kenny. Hopefully you guys are all doing well, man. Guys, make sure you're smashing up the likes, man. Make sure you're smashing up the likes. Interesting. Okay, I spoke a bit about this last night, I think, on the Twitch stream. Make sure you're following the Twitch link in the description if you're not. But Jack Gaughan, one of the, if not actually, might actually be the number one of the best sources when it comes to Manchester City news and Manchester City transfer news. And last night, he put this out on his article. He says, they're sifting through the tens of candidates who could serve as a Rodri backup has been no easy task for Manchester City. Accepted. That's difficult. To find someone good enough to deputise for Rodri, but also happy to act as a deputy to the world's best in that area of the pitch appears nigh on impossible. It's why the noises around Manchester City all summer have been that a conventional holding midfielder is unlikely to be signed before the transfer window shuts. Oh yeah, by the way, the bathroom is being ripped out again. Well, not ripped out. It's been finalised today. So if you hear anything background, that's what's going on. I'm sorry, yeah, but this is why I've been saying for 16 months, ever since it was clear that Gundogan was probably not going to sign, that you can't buy a backup DM. How many times have I said that you can't do that? You can't buy a backup DM for this very reason. If you buy a backup DM, right, they're never going to play because Rodri's too good. And that means that, first of all, they're probably not going to sign because they don't want to be on the bench the whole time. And even if they did sign, because they're no good or not as good as Rodri, they're hardly going to play. So then when they do eventually play, they're not going to be fully match sharp. So they're not going to play. I've been saying this for like literally 16 months. Ever since it was clear that Gundogan was going to leave, I've been saying, you can't just sign a backup DM. It's not going to work. You're going to have to sign someone like a Gundogan who can play in midfield with Rodri. But then when Rodri needs a rest, suspended or gets injured, they can also play a six, just like Ilkay Gundogan could do. Now, Bruno G can do that job. And of course, we spoke yesterday about how those rumours are just not going away. I still think it's incredibly unlikely that we're going to sign Bruno G because I just don't see it happening personally. But why have they been looking at a DM when we've said for so long, over a year, that that's not going to work? And they've come out now through Jack Gaughan and saying, yeah, they're not, finding a DM that's good enough to play, but is happy to be on the bench is nigh on impossible. Of course, it's nigh on impossible. We've been saying this for over a year. I've been saying this for over a year that it wouldn't work signing a DM. Hence why you needed to get someone that can play in the midfield with Rodri and then deputise just like Gundogan could do. So why have we looked through tens of candidates? Why have we done that and looking at a position and a profile that's not going to work? I am a little bit shocked and surprised that this has come out yesterday via Jack Gaughan, who's a tier one source, and I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, why are we doing it? Why have we been looking? This is why we can't sign Zubimendi. This is why we can't sign Zubimendi, because Zubimendi, in my opinion, cannot play in the 8 position. He cannot join the attack and create chances and score goals like Gundogan could. Hence why we can't sign him, because he'd just be on the bench the whole time. And then he'd never play. And then when he does play, he wouldn't be match sharp and he'd be crap, because that's what happens when you're not match fit. You know, you're miles off the pace because the Premier League is such high intensity. So I don't really understand why we've looked through tens of candidates in the wrong, in my opinion, in the wrong position. I don't really understand why we've done that. I'm a little bit shocked. And listen, I know people will be like, "Oh, just trust the board, LB, trust Tiki. We've won so many Premier Leagues." Listen. I'm not saying like, I'm not saying Tiki out. I'm not saying like sack the board or anything. But like, you know, we're entitled to have a conversation. We're entitled to our own opinions. And my opinion is, I don't really understand why we've been looking at a DM when it was evident to me, and it's been evident to most of you guys, that was never ever the solution. And people who be like, "Nah, no way, you've said that." Chat, I'll tell you, people who watched me on this channel, on previous channel on City Extra, I said this for a time, that you can't just buy a backup DM. It's probably part of the reason, not the only reason, and it's probably a small reason. It's probably one of the reasons that Calvin Phillips failed, because you know he couldn't. You can't just throw a player in after a month on the bench and say, right, we need you to play and be top. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, remember Sergio Aguero? Every time Sergio Aguero got injured, it took him about 4 or 5 games to get going again. The first 4 or 5 games Sergio Aguero come back from an injury, he was slow, he was thuggish, he was off the pace. And then he'd get going, he'd get that match sharpness back, and then boom, he'd be back again. That's not going to work if you buy a backup DM. Now, there is an option, and I'm not a massive fan of this option. However, given the football club have been looking, in my opinion, in the wrong position, could you move Rodri further forward and buy a backup and buy a DM? Now, I'm not a massive fan of that idea personally, and I've told you that before. And the reason I'm not a massive fan of that idea is because I think you're fixing something that's not broken. That's not the situation that we need to fix. Rodri is the DM. So I'm not a massive fan personally of the idea of moving Rodri further forward into basically the Gundogan position and putting a new CDM in there. Rodri's the best CDM in the world. He's, in my opinion, already in the conversation for one of the best CDMs of all time, in my opinion. I genuinely think that. So moving him into a different position to me seems counterintuitive when you've got one of the best players in the world, because then what about if he drops off? What about if he's just not? Well, he'd still be good, but what about if he just is not as good? You know, you're downgrading, you're solving an issue that doesn't need to be solved. Now, some people will say, well, LB, if this is the only option, then we need to do it. It's not the only option. The other option is to, one, go and buy a player in the correct position, or two, stick with Bernardo and Kovacic as you sort of other, you know, defensive setup and solution, which we'll probably do tomorrow, I'd imagine. But I'm a little bit confused, man. Honestly, I can't. I'm a little bit confused at why they've looked at backup DMs. I mean, that was, in my view, never the solution. Never the solution. The solution was to buy basically a Gundogan 2.0 who could play in midfield, chip in with a couple goals and assists. It doesn't have to be mega goals. You know, I don't need 15 goals, 15 assists, but I could do with you getting 10-10. You know what I mean? 10 goals, 10 assists for midfield, but also able to play DM. And they don't need to be amazing. They don't need to be amazing as a CDM. We just need to be able to get away with it for like 4 or 5 games, maybe in a row, if Rodri was to pick up a bit of an injury. You know what I mean? I don't need them to be one of the best. I just need to get away with it. I remember Gundogan, the amount of times Gundogan played CDM and fans would be like, oh no, Gundogan's playing CDM. He's crap at CDM. And I was like, he's not crap at CDM. Is he the best CDM in the world? No. But he can do a job, and that's all we need. We just need somebody to do a job. People say Kovacic can do a job. I think he can do a job if he's got Bernardo Silva next to him or someone else next to him. I don't think he can do the job on his own. Personally, I don't think he can cover the ground. But we need someone in there, if we are going to sign someone that can do that. Now, obviously, Bruno G, Declan Rice were the two, probably the best options that we could have got, in my opinion. Declan Rice has obviously gone to Arsenal. We did try and get him, and that would have been a great solution because he can play further up the pitch, but he can also drop back and play a 6. And Bruno G is probably like an amazing option. But and to be fair, we still might get him because the rumours are not going away. I still think it's highly unlikely, personally, but the rumours are there, and the Athletic keep on putting it out, saying City are interested, They reckon the player wants to still join City, but then I see Bruno putting out these mad tweets saying like, "I love Newcastle and I can't wait to smash it this year with Newcastle." I'm like, why would he tweet that? Why would he tweet that if he thinks he might leave? Like, you just wouldn't tweet that. You wouldn't put that out. So yeah, I can't lie. I am a little bit confused. And it's not being negative. It's just airing my concerns, or just telling you how confused I am, because I've said this for over a year that you can't buy a backup DM, and they've been looking at a backup DM. They've looked at over 10 backup DMs, and now they're saying that, oh, we don't think we can sign one because no one wants to sit on the bench. Yeah, correct. Nobody wants to sit on the bench. And if you sign a backup DM who can only play DM, they know they're going to be sitting on the bench, so they're probably not going to join. So yeah, a little bit strange that, to be honest with you. And let's not pretend again that there's no options out there. There are options out there. There were options out there. João Neves could have done it, in my opinion. Watching him, he could have done it. Kimmich could have done it. Bruno G could have done it. But you need to put a bid in. And listen, obviously, there's still, just under 2 weeks of the transfer window to go. So, actually, it's 2 weeks today. Jeez. 2 weeks today, the transfer window closes. So there's still plenty of time. 2 weeks is still plenty of time to get the business done. But it just seems to me like, why did we do this? You know what I mean? What? And again, this is again hangover of the Gundogan situation. You know what I mean? It's that good. Not getting the Gundogan signed on a contract over a year ago, right? Was just such a huge L, because that really was like where it all started creating this issue. We ended up signing Nunes, who we didn't really need or want, and doesn't really play that much. And listen, I know we speak a lot about Nunes. I genuinely hope he works out, because I like him. I think he's a good footballer. I always say that. I've never once said he's a bad footballer. And I genuinely hope it works out for him. But we only signed him because we was in a panic situation. Now they're looking at DMs. They can't get anyone in because no one wants to sit on the bench. You know, the Bruno G deal's there, but it's going to cost a lot of money. And it doesn't appear that City at this moment in time are willing to pay the money that Newcastle want. And it seems to me like they're a little bit confused about where they need to purchase or who, or maybe they feel that this Gundogan 2.0 isn't on the market. Well, he is. It's Bruno G, but can you get him? But it's just a little bit strange, man. I do find it a little bit interesting. And like I say, to me, this isn't going to stop us winning the league, in my opinion. Like this shouldn't stop us winning the league, because we have enough options. But it's in terms of like the full season. You got the Champions League. That's an extra couple of games. We got knocked out of the Carabao Cup in match day 1 last year. What about if we get to the final of that again? That's going to add more games. FA Cup, we've actually been doing quite well on that recently. Last couple of years, getting to finals. So there's going to be a lot of football matches. You know what I mean? And the fact is, you can't keep playing Rodri the amount of times that we are. So we are going to have to find another solution. Maybe the solution is Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, with one attacking midfielder in Kevin De Bruyne or Foden. That's at the moment probably my preference. Maybe it's to play Nico O'Reilly. I know a lot of people in the chat really want to give him a chance. And listen, if he gets a chance, I'll be supporting him 100%. But it just would have been good to get that extra player in that can do the job that we know we need to be filled, and just go from there. And it doesn't look at this moment in time like we're getting one again. Let me look at this final sentence. It's why the noises around Man City all summer have been that conventional holding midfielder is unlikely to be signed before the transfer window shuts. So, he's saying that it's unlikely that we're going to sign someone that can play in. Well, it doesn't say that necessarily. He said, it's unlikely that a conventional midfielder, but we didn't want that anyway. No City fan wanted a Nigel de Jong. You know what I mean? I'm not being funny. Yeah, we didn't want a Nigel de Jong. As much as I love Nigel de Jong, that's not what we needed. You know what I mean? We don't want someone just to sit on the bench and chill. We want someone that plays football, so they're match sharp, and then when we need them, boom, they're in, which is exactly what Ilkay Gundogan did. So yeah, listen, that's a little bit strange, to be honest with you. I am gonna get some of your comments on this. I want to know what you guys are saying. Let's have a look. Jess says we should be looking at some Brazilians and Argentinians, maybe some Germans. Well, the thing is as well, yeah, there's a guy, what's that guy called for River Plate? I know we can't just keep on raiding River Plate all the time, yeah? They're becoming our feeder club. But there's a guy who plays for River Plate, CDM, and I always forget his name, but he's actually decent. He's like 17 years old. Let me know, chat. What's he called? Anyone remember what his name is? Let me know if you guys can remember what his name. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Is McAtee? No, McAtee's much more of an attacking player. You don't want him playing. You don't want him playing deep. Didn't Fabrizio say we'll go to the market? A lot of contradiction. You know what, well, bro? Did I not say yesterday? Did I not say yesterday, bro, on a stream? Yeah, that I think City are confused. I think City are confused, and I think that's why you're getting contradicting information from the journalists, because I don't think City fully know what to do. I think we're a little bit like, do we sign someone? Do we not sign someone? You know, should we buy Bruno? Should we not buy Bruno? Should we just play Bernardo and Kovacic? But what about if Bernardo Kovacic doesn't work, and this could be Pep's last season, and then we've not given him the tools that he needs? Do we buy an Alvarez replacement? Do we not buy an Alvarez replacement? Oh, damn, Oscar Bob's now broke his leg. Do we buy someone to replace him? Yeah, we could do, but then that'll put him back when he's back from the injury, because then he won't be got that clear run at the first team, and he looks mint and I genuinely, and now we've got the added confusion as well that Kyle Walker might be leaving to go Saudi Arabia. So now it's like, damn, what do we do now? Do we buy a right back? Do we buy a centre back? Do we buy a left back? Like, I genuinely think that we're a little bit confused or undecisive in what to do. And by the way, I don't mean that as like a dig. That's not me calling out the board saying, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Because I've changed my mind loads of times on streams in the last 2 months about, should we buy a player? Should we not buy a player? Who should we buy? Should we buy a Dia? Not what a Dia. Should we buy an Alvarez replacement? Some days I'm like, you know what? Yeah, get me an Alvarez replacement. Some days I'm like, nah, I'm happy with McAtee. Bob breaks his leg, and I'm like, yeah, we definitely need to get someone. And then I find out he's only out for 4 months, and I'm like, well, we can probably wing it until January, and then he's back, and then we'll be fine. I do understand it. I do get it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm sitting here saying it's clear and obvious what you need to do, and you do. It's not. I don't think it necessarily is. And you know, to be fair as well, like whilst there are players available that play in the position that I think we need, how many of those are like world class? You know, you've probably got Frankie de Jong can probably do it, but his wages are astronomical. And does he even want to leave Barcelona? Do we want to get involved with Barcelona? They still owe us loads of money from Ferran Torres as well, and probably other players as well. Do you want him? The Bruno G deal's weird, and some people are now saying that Newcastle are asking for 120 million. But it's clearly not worth 120 million. I think he's worth like 70 personally. So you're overpaying 50 mil. I understand why you're not going to overpay 50 mil. That would be ridiculous. You know what I mean? So it's just it's crazy. Kimmich is a great option. And listen, I think Kimmich, I'm surprised we've not been on Kimmich. And I know people will be like, yeah, but LB's wages are huge. Right, well, hang on a minute. Yeah. He's got 1 year left of his contract. Are Bayern Munich going to give him another 3-4 year contract on those same wages? I don't know, possibly. But if you went to him now and said, right, listen, you're on 350, right? We're not going to give you 350. We'll give you 250, 275 max, right? But we're going to give you a 3 to 4 year deal. So you're getting less money, yes, only slightly. You're still getting astronomical wages, by the way. You know what I mean? You're not going to be shopping at fucking Smart Price at Asda. You know what I mean? You're still going to be buying named brand food. You know what I mean? You still drive a nice car and have a house in Cheshire. You know what I mean? Like, say to him, you're going to have a 4 year contract. You're playing in the Premier League, which you've never done. You've never played outside of Germany. You're going to be working with Pep Guardiola, one of the managers who gave you your first real break. This is a great way to end your career, and then you can go Saudi or whatever. You know what I mean? And then that difference in money that you would have earned if you stayed at Bayern Munich, that extra 75 grand, you'll get that in 2 weeks if you go Saudi Arabia in 3 years. You've got to propose it. Listen, there's no guarantee he says, yeah, of course. He might be like, nah, I want the cash. And I wouldn't give him 375 if I'm saying it now. If he said, no, I want 375, I'd be like, not giving him 375. I wouldn't give him that. But 250, 275, I don't think that's outrageous for a player of his experience, a player of his quality, a player that can do a job. He can play right back as well. Because this is another thing as well, right? Obviously, you guys have probably seen the news coming out yesterday, the exclusive news from City Report about Al Hilal, Kyle Walker, right? If Kyle Walker leaves, in my opinion, you need another defender. In my opinion, if Kyle Walker leaves the football club, you need another defender, because that only leaves us with 6 defenders, right? Now, you play 4, which means you've only got really 2 that you can have injured. And I'm not being funny, John Stones is unreliable because of his injury concerns. So, you know, if Walker leaves, you've got 6 players left, right? John Stones is injured a lot, so you can't really rely on him. Ake picks up an injury now and again as well. I think you need another injury. Guess who can play right back? Kimmich. Kimmich, honestly, is the perfect solution. It's the perfect. So if you sign Kimmich, you don't have to buy another defender. because he can play defence and he's the midfielder as well. He can play midfield, he can play that Gaughan role and play a bit further forward, and he can play CDM. And people will come in and be like, oh, he can't play CDM, he's not good enough. He can play CDM. He can get by CDM. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. He is literally the perfect option. 40 million euros. It's about 33, 32 million pounds for a player that can cover Walker at right back. He can play CDM. He can play in the midfield. It's the perfect solution. And it's so cheap. And I don't think it'll take too much time for him to get going as well, because he's worked with Pep Guardiola before. And I just don't think, honestly, I don't know how loud that is. That might be really loud. How loud is that? Is that really loud? Let me know how loud that is. Bro, how loud is that? Is it loud? Yeah, so basically, that's Tiki. He's not happy, mate. He's not happy with what we're saying, lads. He's not happy with what we're saying. But yeah, basically, I think Kimmich is the option. I really, really do. I think he's the option, man. How have we not even tried to go for Bruno? Shaking my head. Says Darcy. 120 mil, apparently, some people are saying he's worth. Well, what they want. That's what they're saying. I just think Kimmich, man. Kimmich is just like a great option. And I know he's not everyone's cup of tea and everyone's not like buzzing about him, but genuinely, I think he's the one, man. I think he's the one. I genuinely think he's the one, man. But yeah, listen, if we don't get a DM, I still think we're all right, because we've got Kovacic and Bernardo who can play there. You know what I mean? I think that's good enough. So like, I'm not like I say, I'm not out here saying if we don't sign a DM, we're not winning the league. I still think we can win the league, but I just think that Bernardo Kovacic has to work. If it doesn't work, we could be in the mud. If it is a question, yeah, here's a question for you. If Walker leaves, who would you buy? I've got a shout, man. I've got a great shout here. A shout come in from a guy called Daz. Sorry, not Daz. Gaz on Twitter. Yeah, watch this. What do you guys think about this suggestion as a Walker replacement? Trevor Chalobah, mate. Trevor Chalobah. He can play centre back. He can play right back. He can play right side of a 3. And he's cheap, 25 mil. I genuinely think it's a good option, man. I know you are going to cook me in the chat. You'll be like, oh, it's a horrific shout, LB. Common L from you. Common L from you, LB. I think, honestly, man. Nah, serious, guys. I'm telling you. You don't know ball, yeah? He's a good player, man. I'd take him, honestly. I swear. I think he's like the next Akanji. He'd be mint. I think he is. I think he's the one. Bigger L than the Perone shower. Yeah. The thing is, though, we definitely need another defender, man. We definitely need another defender. Ooh, brother, that shit loud. Yeah.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Seriously, man, I like him. I like Chalobah. I think he's a good player. I really do, and I think he's cheap. We need another defender. Honestly, I genuinely, yeah. I genuinely think we need another defender if he goes. You can't go into a season with 6 defenders when one of them is seriously injury prone. He's seriously injury prone. I mean, if I have a look at John Stone's injuries here, how many injuries he had? Injury history. This is John Stone's injury history. I mean, look at this. He got 2 pages, first of all, which is never a good sign. Yeah. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 injuries. Do you know what I mean? It's always like 50 days, 30 days, 24 days, 26 days, 35, 28, 24, 28, 42. You get what I'm saying? You can't do it, man. You honestly can't do it. You need to sign someone. What is that sound? They're doing the bathroom, man. They're sorting out the bathroom, innit? Nah, bro. Sounds like a bee. I need to listen to it. I need to find out what it sounds like. Let me try and find out what it sounds like. Yeah. Concer's decent. Concer's a decent option, but we're not going to spend the money on Concert, mate. You know how much Aston Villa are going to want for Concert? They're going to want so much money, man. Honestly, they're going to want so much money for concert. I want to listen. No, I can hear it. I just want to know what it sounds like on the stream. It's LB. Let me listen to it. I want to know what it sounds like. Oh, it's not that bad. I thought it was going to be horrendous. Sounded like a fart at first. 20. Yeah, bro, I genuinely think this is a good price. I think this is a good price. And I think he can cover us. Remember, he's not going to be starting, right? Because you've got Ake, centre-back, John Stones, centre-back, Ruben Diaz, centre-back, maybe a Kanji ahead of him if you play Rico Lewis at right-back, and then Chalobah. It's going to be like third, fourth choice centre-back. It'll be third choice right-back. Honestly, man, you need to think on. This is a good deal. This would be a good deal if City get this across the line. It is. I thought it was. Nah. No, bro. That's not the point. The point is we ain't spending the money. It's not my money, and I don't care. But the point is City are not going to spend the money that Aston Villa want for concert. That's the point. That's the point. Because they're going to want, bro, they're going to want 80 mil for concert. Trust me, they're going to want 80 mil. You know what, yeah? Let me message Billy. Right, let me send him a voice note. Right? And I'll say to Billy, I'll say, reply with a voice note and see of how much. Yes, bro, I'm on a stream right now. I want you to send me a voice note back, yeah? So obviously, don't swear or anything. If you was to sell Konsa now, say like you had to sell him, how much would you value him at? Right, let's see what he says. Guaranteed he says something like 80, 90, 100 mil. Guaranteed. That's the point. The point isn't like I wouldn't spend the money because I don't care about the money. It's not my money. The point is City are not going to spend 80, 90 mil on concert. Guarantee he says like it's going to be like 100 mil. He's read it. Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says, man. Hey, yo, send it, bro. Shh. Chill, bro. You're going to get me nicked. You're gonna get me nicked. Hey, yo, big up to Ranveer as well, man. He's just become a channel member. Appreciate the support, bro. Appreciate the support. Yo, by the way, the amount of new members we've got over the last couple of days has been insane, man. I appreciate every single one of you that is a channel member. Really does help me create the content on the channel, man. So big up to Ranveer. Big up to all the members in the chat. As again, I'm massively right. He's recording an audio. Let's see what he says. I guarantee it's more than 80 million. Guarantee it's more than 80 million. And City not paying that. City not going to pay that. Joe Gomez is leaving Liverpool. I did see that. Right, here we go. Oh, wait, what? He's recording a second video. A second one. Oh, I don't know what he says. Right, ready, boys? Hopefully you can hear this.
How you doing, mate? If we were to sell Konza now, you have to look at what Palace are demanding for Gaughan. In my opinion, he's better than that. So you're talking at least 70, 75, 80 mil, I would say. And that's going off what Palace are demanding for Gaughan, obviously. And like I say, in my opinion, he's better. I understand people have their own opinions and not necessarily everyone will agree with that. But look, it is what it is.
That was actually lower than I thought, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to be like, 100 million. He's the best centre-back that's ever lived. 70 mil. I still don't think City would pay 70 mil for Konsa. I still don't think he'd pay 70 mil for Konsa. Especially because he's not going to be our starter. He's not going to be a starter. So you're not going to pay 70 mil for a guy who's not starting for you, are you? So you got to get someone cheap. And that would be someone like Chalobah, man. Honestly. LB, why aren't Man City scouting in France? Chelsea got Gusto for 25 million. Who was the last player we signed from France? Mendy, or did who did we sign first? Mendy or Bernardo? Mendy or Bernardo? Maybe we got PTSD in it. Oh, Doku, yeah. We got Doku last year. Yeah, we got Doku last year, man. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. Big Jezza. But yeah, man, it's strange. If it was me, right, here's what I'd do. If I was in charge of City, right, this is what I'd do. I'd sign Kimmich. Done. Over 40 mil. Spend for the summer. Well, that's like 32 mil. Savio 25. Spend for the summer 60 mil. Done. Yeah. Don't get Kimmich. I'd get Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea, 25 million, and he's homegrown, which is great news. And then I buy. Who else would I buy? There's got to be a midfielder available. I'd love that Patino, mate. I think Patino at PSG is absolutely mint, but I don't think they'd sell him, mate. Every time I watch, he always plays. And I don't know, can he play DM? I don't know. Can he get away with it? That's the question. Can you get away with him at DM? Because that was what it was with Gundogan. It was, can you get away with playing it? He played DM. He says, hey, he played DM for Paris in the first game of the season against Le Havre in Ligue 1. He played DM, so he can play DM. They play him as DM. Fabian Ruiz. I'd be open to the idea of Fabian Ruiz. I just don't know if he's quick enough. Man. Honestly. Chaser and Wharton done. Wharton. I'd take Wharton. At this point, yeah, I genuinely would take anyone. I'm not even that bothered. But again, that sounds like I'm desperate, which I might be desperate. But at the same time, if we don't get anyone, I still back the Bernardo Kovacic double. 100% I still back it. I just think that it's not ideal. That's all. I just don't think it's ideal. But I still think it can work, and I still think we can win the league with it. I just don't think it's the ideal solution. But maybe you can't have the ideal solution. I mean, you should be able to, because you should be able to sign the players, especially when you've got so much money in the bank. Need to get a midfielder already before we get fleeced on the last day like we did with Matthias Nunes, says Gaughan. Why do we need another centre-back? We have to sign a DM, because if Walker leaves, ALX, you're left with 6 defenders, one of which is John Stones, who is always injured. So then if he's injured, you got 5. That means you can't afford for anyone really to go down injured. I think you need an extra one. Or what you could do is you could get Mats Hummels on a free transfer? Someone like that. Just say to him, listen, mate, you ain't going to play, bro. Like, the only way you're playing is if we've got 3 players injured. Because he's not got a football club. Mats Hummels has not got a football club. He left Dortmund at the end of the season. Just get him in and be like, listen, you ain't playing. You're going to be like 5th choice centre-back. The only way that you're going to play is if we've got serious injuries. But you ain't got a football club. We'll pay you 20 grand a week because it's better than getting nothing. Just sit there on the bench. And then when you needed, you needed. But you're only going to be needed is if 3 centre-backs get injured. Is Walker leaving this summer? I'll put it up on screen, bro. What's City Reporter saying? This is what they're saying, man. You can make your own decision. This isn't exclusive. Al Hilal are interested in signing Kyle Walker from Manchester City and have inquired about his valuation. I'm pretty sure that's 100% true. Now, this doesn't say he's leaving. It doesn't say he's accepted it. It doesn't say City have accepted the fee. It's literally preliminary stage talks right now. But I think he'll leave. And I tell you why I think he'll leave, yeah, is because I think he knows that he's probably not going to play it as much this year. Because Akanji's going to be ahead of him. In my opinion, Rico Lewis might be ahead of him in certain games. There are still games where Kyle Walker would be my preference. Yeah. Big, tight games, which is like you really can't afford to lose type situation. Coming up against the Vinny's and the Mbappe's of the world, Real Madrid's. And I'd like to keep him for the experience. And I still don't think I think it might be a little bit premature to get rid of him. But I don't think he'd accept that. He's 34. If you say to him, listen, Walker, your minutes are going to go down to 1,500 this year because Akanji's going to be playing more. Rico Lewis is going to be playing more, and you can't play in any other position. It's all right for Akanji. Guy can play left back, centre back, right back. It's all right for Rico Lewis. Guy can play right back, centre mid, attacking mid. Walker can only really play right back. So I think his minutes are going to go down. Does he want his minutes to go down to 1,500? 2,000 when he's 34? He probably just wants to play football. So if he wants to go, he wants to go. What can you do? Saudi are coming in with the cash. But I don't want him particularly to leave. I'd keep him around the squad. But I don't think he'd accept that. So I think he'll end up going because realistically, right, if Al Hilal are interested in signing him, I'd have inquired about the valuation. The only way that Al Hilal are not putting a bid in is if City go back and say it's 35, 40 mil. City are not going to go back and say a 34-year-old, yeah, is worth 30, 40 mil. Not when we sold Mahrez for 25. He was younger and still performing at a higher level than Walker did last year. So City are going to go back and be like 15 mil, 10 mil. And for Al Hilal, you're getting one of the greatest right backs the Premier League's ever seen. Treble winner, captain of Man City. Like, I think they'd do it. I think they'd pay the money. And again, that's good for City's bank. Not that I'm not asked, but because that's straight profit, isn't it? Because he's been here so long, he doesn't have any money on the books. So you get 10, 15 million, you get 10, 15 mil straight up profit. And then you could go and get Trevor Chalobah, 25 mil, another homegrown for homegrown. You're swapping an Englishman for an Englishman, and you're cooking. You're absolutely cooking, man. Kanji, Rico, Stones, Walker. I don't know about Stones right back personally, because I know I've seen a lot of people say they'd have Stones above Walker. I'd still have Walker above Stones at a right back. Billy just sent a message saying you ain't getting Conser. No, we're not getting Conser, bro. We just wanted to know, innit, what you'd said. We just wanted to know. Luis Diaz, watch along on more LB. Facts, bro. We're going to go live in a few minutes. Liverpool versus Ipswich. We're going to be doing a live watch along on the second channel. More LB. Make sure you tune in. Stream will redirect you anyway. There we land. Facts. Oh, big up to Guimero. Sorry, bro. I didn't see this. City need to get Eze Barbea. Barbea? Do you mean Barella? Or is Barbea a player that I've never heard of? Footballer. Do you mean Barella, bro? Yeah, I think it needs Barella in it. Oh, wait. No, there is a Barbea. Michel Barbea. Plays for Napoli's under-16s. Bro, do you mean Barbella or do you mean Barella? Because there is a Barbea, but I think you mean Barella. Surely you mean Barella. But there is an actual guy who plays in Italy called Barbea, who's a midfielder. I think you mean Barella, innit? Or have you scouted this 16-year-old guy? Oh, he means Barella. Yeah, bro. I was like, what? Does he actually mean this guy? Who is this? Who is this new kid coming through? Who's going to be absolutely mint from Italy? M. Barbea. Yeah, but apparently Barella don't want to leave Italy though, bro. Like I'd be game to get Barella, but you don't want to leave Italy. Apparently, Guerrero. He wants to stay. Imagine if you got all three of them. Imagine if you got all three of them, man. That would be absolutely insane, wouldn't it? That would be insane. But yeah, man, listen, it's crazy. It's a crazy situation. I don't know what we're going to do. I still don't think we're signing anyone. So to cut the 40-minute stream to a close, I still don't think we're signing anyone, personally. Unless Walker goes. I think if Walker goes, I do think we'll sign someone. I think we'll find someone. The bees are back. Right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. We're going over to more LB. You'll be automatically redirected. If you don't get redirected, just type in more LB and we'll be live in, give me 5-10 minutes. We'll be live. Liverpool in the first game of the Premier League under Arne Slot. We will be there. Get me Sacha Bowie. There we land, says LB 1998. Come on, guys. Watch along season. More LB. See you in a second. Peace out, people. We can continue this conversation, by the way, in the watch along as well. Bye.